Why should someone make business with you? Why may a potential customer be convinced that your service or product will be more valuable than similar offerings from your competitors? The answer is in the value proposition that expresses the value of a company promises to deliver to the customers. A good value proposition can give you an advantage over your competitors, and it is often what your prospects use to evaluate you. Generally, the value proposition is communicated in marketing materials and advertising, and therefore it is the first touchpoint potential customer encounter when exploring your brand. For this reason, having a clear and concise value proposition is definitely fundamental. I usually recommend to aspiring entrepreneurs to write down the value proposition in capital letters on the back of a business card, or to use just a tweet, no more than 140 characters. This is a very helpful exercise to evaluate if the value proposition is clearly defined and expressed. The value proposition identifies on one side all the benefits your products or services offer. On the other side, it pinpoints your customer's main problem that your solution intends to solve. The value proposition is defined and built matching these 2 points. What makes your value proposition effective? To define an effective value proposition, you have to, first of all, be concise. The value proposition must be easy to understand. It is your first touch point with potential customers. Then define what you do. Do not be cryptic or enigmatic. Express clearly what you do and explain how your product resolves a pain point for your potential customer. But above all, you should answer the question coming from your potential customer. Why should I buy from you instead of any of your competitors? Identifying the value proposition on paper is only the first stage. It is then necessary to validate what is important to customers and get their feedback on the value proposition. These insights can then be used to go back and continually refine the proposition. One of the most common approaches and tools to define the value proposition is the value proposition canvas. It was initially developed by Alexander Osterwalder as a framework to ensure a fit between the product and the market. The value proposition canvas can be used when there is a need to refine an existing product or service, for example, if you intend to implement additional features, when a new offering is being developed from scratch, or when you are looking to expand into a new market, or to target new customer segments. The value proposition canvas is formed around 2 building blocks: the customer profile and the value map that corresponds to the value proposition of the company. One important part of the value proposition canvas is to always start with the customer side. This ensures you will truly focus on the needs and wants of the customer. To define your customer profile is crucial to distance yourself from your solution and focus on the customer, trying to understand what they really need or want. You can start making hypotheses based on general knowledge, but then you should validate your hypothesis through direct interaction with your potential customers. The customer profile of the value proposition canvas is built on 3 elements: gains, pains, and customer jobs. Gains are the benefits which your customer expects and needs, what would delight customers, and the things which may increase the likelihood of them adopting your value proposition. Pains include the negative experiences, emotions, and risks that the customer experiences in the process of getting the job done. Customer jobs are the functional, social, and emotional tasks customers are trying to perform, problems they are trying to solve, and needs they wish to satisfy. A customer profile should be created for each customer segment your solution is addressed to, because each segment has distinct gains, pains, and jobs. The second part of the value proposition canvas focuses on your product or service. In contrast with the first part, the best way to go ahead is to distance yourself from your customers, ensuring to take into consideration the elements you really cover with your solution, avoiding to add something only to satisfy what is mentioned on the customer profile side. This second half of the value proposition canvas is defined as value map and includes the definition of 3 elements: gain creators, how the product or services creates customer gains and how it offers added value to the customers; pain relievers, a description of exactly how the product or service alleviates customer pains; products and services, the products and services which create gain and relieve pain and which underpin the creation of value for the customer. After listing gain creators, pain relievers, and products and services, each point identified can be ranked from nice to have to essential in terms of value to the customer. The final step of the value proposition canvas consists of identifying the fit between your value proposition and your customers' needs and wants. A fit is achieved when the products and services offered as a part of the value proposition address the most significant pains and gains from the customer profile. You will never achieve a 100% fit between the 2 sides of the value proposition canvas. If you do, it means you are most probably lying to yourself along the drafting of your value proposition canvas. You will probably partially cover the customer jobs, pains, and gains. What is really important is to cover the key aspects well and focus your business on them.